Hey, welcome back. This is Couples Drive, where married couples share their stories from when they met, courted, got married, and beyond. I'm your host, Atuboyan. Today we're picking up from where we left off with Liz and Michael, and this is part 2 of my ride with them. Take a look.
Since getting married, I've learned so much about myself as an individual.
How we met? I don't know. This is how I remember how we met.
Like I said, there was always something about him that just, I don't know, it just stuck out to me.
So it's not an easy thing raising a kid, especially as a new couple.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how to say it, but when you're married, it raises the standards.
So, Liz, what is one thing that you dislike so much about your husband? If there's more, let's know as well.
You're taking us there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's something that I would say I loved about him, but I also don't like about him. One of the reasons why I chose to marry Mike was because of how calm he was. Because I've always known that I needed somebody because of how I am, and I can be like very feisty and stuff. I always knew that, and it's like I always wanted a man like my father. My father is very calm, so I saw that in him. He was extremely calm, and he was somebody that I felt like was very humble, and I felt like that was somebody that I needed. But however, after getting married, I feel like sometimes especially in like stressful situations, I get stressed out a lot. Like I'm always worrying about everything, and I want, you know what I mean? And he's just like calm, and that really drives me so insane. So I'm like, how can you? Like, I'll give an example. We recently moved, and during the moving process, like 2 months in advance, I'm like packing boxes, and I'm like, oh my God, like moving is stressful. I want to make sure I'm not stressed. And he's just sitting there chilling, and I'm like, how can you not be stressed? So I think that, sometimes, and that's what people have to also see. Sometimes the things that you love about that person could also turn into the things that you don't like about that person. Because sometimes it's like, you want that person to be just as like agitated or as stressed as you are, and if that person is just sitting there and chilling, then you're like, oh my God, why is he not stressed out? But in a way, it also keeps me calm and grounded, because he will tell me like, well, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, if you stress out, is it gonna make the situation better? And I'm like, well, no, but still, like, So I think that's one thing that I don't wish that it was different, but it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy.
Michael, what about you?
Are you not perfect? As we said, there's no perfect person on this earth. And it's more about how I am. I'm kind of time conscious, and I don't know whether it's a woman thing or what. She's kind of, she'll wake up early, do everything, but she always have something to do that will make her late. That is one thing.
The last touch up.
The last touch up. There's always a last touch up.
That is one thing that I can stand. Like, I like, it might be my way of always getting my things my way, getting up, do my thing, and leaving the house. But she always has something that will make her late. That is something that I wish she works on, and I know she's working on, but it's something that I can't stand.
Oh my God.
What is one shocker about marriage for you? What one thing you found about marriage that you felt, this is serious? Like, everybody has this quote unquote like idea about marriage, and then you get in it, you found out this is not anything close to what I was told. This is different.
Yeah.
What is it?
You wanna go?
Go.
This is a deep one, right? You have to think about this one. For me, I think the one, which is not really a shocker, is more so of like, it's a shocker for me. But the one thing that I think is a shocker is that you have to be like, in order for you to have a successful marriage, it doesn't have anything to do with your partner. It has everything to do with you as an individual. I know marriage is a union and it's the two coming together, But for me, I feel like if one is not complete, you can never come together.
Yeah.
You have to, you know, I know a lot of like when you're single, you're like, oh, I'm going to go find myself. I'm going to find my identity. I'm going to go on a search for journey for self. That journey for self, maybe for yourself, it can work, but it has to be together. Like, you have to learn how to like really like come out of yourself, like unconditional love that they talk about. Because sometimes, like, and I never thought I'd be able to do this. Sometimes something can happen and you know, say like, if I make the decision, like, it hurts you to make it, but you have to make it because you want your marriage to work, or you want, you know, you want to not think about yourself in this moment. So I think that you have to really be confident in yourself as an individual and be whole and know really who you are, what takes you off and on in order to have a successful marriage. If you don't, then you're always going to think about you and you, and then it's just never going to work. Because I want to think about, I want, like, sometimes it's like, I want my needs to be met. Mike wants his needs to be met. Who's going to meet whose needs? You know what I mean? Like, somebody has to, like, kind of like, what did they say? Like, be the fool or whatever? Yeah, in order to make it successful. And that's something that I know is extremely hard to do, but you have to do it. Like, I know they say, they give it advice to me all the time, and I never saw it, but now I'm like, it has to happen. You know, and that's one of the shockers. Like, you have to, like, work on you in order to have a successful marriage, in order to come together in unity with, you know, your partner.
Mike, were you shocked by anything?
I wouldn't say shocked.
Or maybe disappointed by anything. Like, you can tell me if you're disappointed by something, because, you know, you get in and you're like, oh my God, this is marriage?
I wouldn't say I was disappointed, but in the beginning, like, as couples in the beginning, when your differences begin to surface, and you realize, am I on the right track? So in the beginning, we were talking a lot. Like, we have to call family meetings, and we have to sit down to talk about some things that are coming up, and which I think help us a lot. If you are not able to settle your differences, it doesn't help. So I thought there was not going to be like no quarrel, because I love her, she loves me, and everything was going to go smoothly. But you begin to realize there are some things that are not even annoying, that anybody would do that will not even upset you. But because you are living with a person, she does it and you are mad. You'll be like, why am I even mad about this?
Right.
And it's just the little things.
Yeah.
I can give you an example. Just maybe toothpaste.
Oh, yeah.
I use the toothpaste by pressing from the bottom. I don't know if you heard this example. She used by pressing in the middle. So you go and then she has done that. And they'll be like, why will you do this? You might think it's not annoying, but if you continue to see this.
Yeah. And then he'll get annoyed. And I'm like, it's not even that big of a deal.
Those are
and then we get into an argument about that, like about toothpaste.
These are the little things that, if as a couple, if you don't talk about this, it can break a marriage. So those are the little things and the petty things that in the beginning that I felt it was a shocker, but it's nothing that I should have been shocked about.
But I think you made a good point in that, like, the differences, you have to pay attention. It's not even like the big differences, like the small things, like that you get so annoyed about it, and it's like it messes up your whole day. Like, I mean, when you see it, you're like, you just can't get your mind off, like, why can't you just do this? You know what I mean? Like, this is so simple. You know, to you it's simple, but maybe that person, their mind is probably not, it's not even that simple. Their mind is probably not on it, or they're thinking it's not that big of a deal. Like, you know, they might brush it off, and you're like, and it's like the biggest deal to you. And those little things, I remember there was a preaching that they said that the little foxes is what in marriages you have to watch out for. It's not like the big things, because I would say that Mike and I don't have any huge issues in our marriage, but you notice, like, it's the little things that will become like a big issue that will eventually, if not treated, if we don't sit down as a family and talk about it, it becomes like a huge thing.
All right. So how do you overcome this kind of, you know, nuances, this anger? How do you overcome it? Do you just talk about it and forget about it, or?
No.
Okay.
We talk about it and work on it.
On it. As a family too, we have a day that we meet. We pray. we meet and then we talk. So maybe in the course of the day, maybe I did something that upset her, or she did something that got me mad. So that will be the day that we will discuss it, then we iron it out.
So wait, you table it for that particular day?
No. We talked about it during the week. Let's say I do something now. She can tell me, but on that day to when we sit down,
you bring
it up,
okay.
And then.
Okay.
And one thing that I've had to learn since being married, which has helped, like, I was always the type of person, like, I have a very sharp tongue, and I'm somebody that, like, as soon as I see something I don't like, I tell you right away, and then I forget about it, and then next minute we're best friends. Mike was opposite. Mike is somebody that when he sees something, he won't say it. He'll keep it in, and then
process it.
He'll keep it. He'll keep it in for, like, let's say, like, a long time, like longer than I will even care to keep it in. Yeah, so it used to bother me, like. So you could tell, like, Mike is somebody that he can't hide his emotions. And I know something is wrong because you're not talking to what's wrong, and he won't say it. So I think one thing that through the talking and what I've had to learn about him is that when I see something, like maybe he's upset because of the way I may have spoken to him or the way I may have, like, said something and it got him upset. So one thing that I have had to learn was that when I see something, if something makes me upset, I have to, like, really check in with myself and, you know, calm down first. Like, I don't want to approach him when I'm angry, because if I'm angry, I'm just going to say whatever comes to mind, and it's not going to be a productive conversation. So I've had to really work on that. And, like, when I see something that upsets me, I will just, you know, I'll work through my own issues, my own mind, and then later I'm like, Mike, can we talk? And then when I say that, he knows, and then we'll stay down and we'll talk. But if I go like, oh my God, why didn't you do this? And he's looking at me like, what, you know, it's not really a respectful thing. So I've had to learn that. That's one thing that I've had to, like, really, like, work on as far as how I communicate with him when I'm upset. And it's been really, really good.
I love this conversation.
Yeah,
you guys having fun?
Yeah. We're saying some things, you know, some deep things are coming up.
And then one thing too that, especially those of us where your background is, where you are grow. I grew up in Ghana. I came here as an adult. She came here as a kid, and then so the culturally how we were raised is a little bit different. So that one too is one thing that we have to adapt to. Even though we are all from Ghana, but there is definitely going to be some differences. Then there are some differences that you have to learn. So I believe marriage is a continual learning process that you have to learn from the other person every day. You have to learn from him or her. And then when she brings something up, you don't have to just brush it out. You have to look into it. What can you learn from it? And then you learn from it. If you want your marriage to work, if you want to be that I'm the man or I'm the woman, it's not going to help. You have to learn. You have to respect each other. And that way your marriage can work.
Yeah, because a lot of what I hear a lot nowadays is, oh, like, I'm an independent woman, I'm my own person, you know, it is what it is, I am what I am. I mean, if you have that kind of attitude, and I used to have that kind of attitude too, but I've noticed it doesn't help. Like, I want my marriage to work. You know, I have a good man, he's a great father, he's a great husband. So in order for that to work, what do I have to do? I can't just say, oh, I am what I am. Because if I say I am what I am, and he says I am what I am, then we're not making any progress. So
then you are who you are. Both of you.
Exactly.
Everybody will be what they are.
Everybody will be what they are. But, you know, I had, you know, and that's the hardest part. When you have to, like, something that you're used to doing all your life, you have to, like, realize, like, I can't do this anymore because I want this to work. And you have to, like, relearn certain behaviors. That's hard because you know, and you're doing it for this person too. It's hard. It's really, really hard, but you know, it's doable. Like I said, I've learned how to communicate with him now when I'm upset. Like, I realize I don't get as upset about things as I used to anymore. Because I have to wait, you know. I can't just tell him what I want to say. So I'm like, oh, it's not even that serious. I'll just brush it off and then, you know, keep it moving. So there's a lot of maturity, like you said, that comes in it.
Michael, what do you think is the role of a man in marriage?
Oh, that's a good one.
The role of a man in marriage. I think the Bible. I'm a Christian, so I'll quote the Bible. The Bible makes it clearly that the man is supposed to be the leader of the house. The leader of the house doesn't mean you are the lord of the house.
Okay.
You are supposed to lead the house spiritually by directing the house with the help of the wife in a way that glorifies the Lord. As a man, it is so. The Bible says, when we were doing our counseling, Pastor said something that he who finds a wife has found a good thing. When you get married, you have a woman, and it is your responsibility as a man to make her your wife. And you are going to make her your wife by turning her, by helping her, grooming her, directing her, teaching her based on the word of God, in her growing spiritually, and then maturing in the way that you want, that as a man you want. So as the role of the man is a whole lot. You have to lead the house in the way that pleases and glorifies the Lord.
Give me an example of like some of the roles that you perform, like, and I'm not trying to sort of put any sort of division or segmentation between, you know, what women have to do or the chores of a woman or a man, but some of the things that you do that makes you, or gives you that sense of appreciation or that sense of leadership role as a father or as a husband in your house.
So as I mentioned earlier, as the man, I'm supposed to lead the house spiritually.
Okay.
Even though she's a Christian, but it's my responsibility to say, we have to pray at this day, and it's my responsibility to bring Bible studies to the table for us to talk about it. As a man, if I feel like there are some things that are not going on well, I have to draw her attention to it. And the man too, you are the provider, basically, for the house. And in this modern age that the woman too works, it's just the two of us that are providing for the house. So it is up to you to make sure there is enough on the table. There is enough that your rent and everything is paid for, and that your house is safe.
Okay.
So you are being the protector of the house. Even though God is with you, protecting you, but you are making sure your house is safe and it's peaceful.
Okay. Liz.
Yes.
What is the role of the mother and the woman in the marriage?
The woman holds everything together. I feel like the woman is the glue that holds it together. Like Mike said, he's the protector and the leader. But Mike cannot lead or protect if I don't allow him to. And what I mean is that, like, if I'm being like let's say I'm coming against him, everything that he does, I'm like always in opposition to him, he's not gonna be able to lead or protect like he should. Like, there'll be times where, like he said, maybe he might see something and he tells me, like, behind closed doors, I'll go and I'll pray for whatever it is. You know what I mean? I don't have to say anything to him because I know that things will not move if I don't allow it to move.
Yes. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, he's leading and he's protecting, but I'm really the one that's pulling the strings in the back. You know,
you calling the shots.
Yeah, but indirectly, because he, like there's some certain things that Mike may not see that I might see, that I might bring his attention to, or you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that I feel like women, we're more perceptive than men. Men, they go, like, men are more, they reason better, but I feel like we are more, we see things, or maybe there's some way I say, this one is not going right, let me pray about it. I don't have to tell him. I will just pray about it, but I feel like we are the glue that holds everything together. If Mike says that, okay, this is where I want our family to go, like, I want us to, achieve this as a family in the next 2 or 3 years, I make sure that whatever it is achieved.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm like in the background, like, working on things and making sure that everything that all the goals that we have set is happening. So that's the role I see as my role as a woman. I mean, as a mother and as a wife. Yeah.
If you were to give a piece of advice to your younger self before you get married,
oh my God,
what would you tell your younger self, Liz?
Wow. If I was to give a piece of advice to my younger self,
yes,
I would tell my younger self to just relax. like everything is gonna be okay. No, because I feel like I don't know what, like when I was younger, I would say I didn't know who I was. I was lost. Like I didn't know Liz, and I didn't take the time to get to know myself enough to really like love who I was. I was, you know, I was always somebody that, you know, I love myself on the surface, but I feel like internally I didn't really get to know who I was, or really get to appreciate the type of woman that I am. And I think that really was it made a lot of it put a lot of standing block in my, even invisible ones that I didn't even realize was there.
Right.
So and then I found out later, like, wow, okay, so I started connecting the dots. So I think I would just tell my younger self to just relax, be confident, and have faith that everything will be okay. Like, don't rush ahead. Just, you know what I mean? Just be confident in the moment. Be confident in where you are now, and, you know, and love it, and live this moment. So that's what I would have told Liz, younger Liz. Because everything turns out, and everything in this life happens for a reason.
No, I mean, can you speak a little bit to your younger self looking to get married?
Oh, okay, like, prepare yourself, honey. You're in it for the long haul. Yeah, I would tell myself that. I think my younger self getting married, I was, you know, I was just like, I don't know, I just felt like I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna get married. Like, I didn't think anything of it. Like, as far as like, you know, you just want to get married, you want to live the fantasy, but I didn't think about all the work that had to come into it. Like, this is the real deal. So I think that's what I would tell my younger self. Like, just, you know, just be prepared to mature, be prepared to grow. Like, don't just be stuck in who you are and this is who I am and this is how it's going to be. But just be prepared to, like, really go through some growth, some growing process in life. I hope I answered the question properly. Okay, yeah.
Michael, what would you tell young Michael growing up, expecting or looking for to get married? What would you tell him?
I would say, come on, Michael, you're going to get a beautiful wife. so don't worry about anybody going. But on a more serious note, I would tell my younger self, learn more about marriage. Don't just look at the fantasies. Don't just look at, oh, I'm just going to get a wife and I'm going to live in a big house and I'm going to do all that. But learn more. Approach marriage people. Find out how they're able to solve their marriage issues. Read books about marriage. Pray more about marriage. Don't wait until the time is due before you pray about marriage. Everything that you need to know about marriage, I think before you get into it, you should know by praying, by reading books, not just reading anything about. Develop the interest for marriage before you get there. So those are the things that I didn't do. I didn't pray about my marriage until lately. But I wish I had prayed more. I wish I had learned more about marriage before I got into it.
I think that's a great advice. And I would tell my younger self the same thing too. Because I don't think that I put in necessary things to prepare for marriage. You know, thinking like a wife and thinking like a single person are completely different things. So I would tell the same thing to my younger self. Because you have to prepare. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I don't think that even as many, you can prepare, but you can never be fully prepared. No. You know, but that's a good advice.
Yeah, right? Michael will take it.
I know.
Hey, welcome back. That was the final part of my ride with Liz and Michael. I hope you enjoyed, learned, and picked something up for your own marriage and your own relationship. Please make sure you subscribe to our videos on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook so that you'll be notified once new videos are posted. And also, if you have any question, any specific question you want me to ask the next guest, please make sure you go to our website, couplesdrive.com, and send us a note. Or you may send it through our Facebook or Instagram pages, and we'll make sure your question is asked and answered. I will see you next time with a new couple. Until then, let's keep love alive. God bless.